What's going on? Welcome back to the No Clue Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mike.
I'm Tyler. Welcome back.
The playoffs are in full effect.
Full effect. Let me ask you this before we get into any individual ones. After the first game, how are you feeling about the playoffs as a whole? After the first game,
It was a little weird that none of the road teams won.
Mm-hmm.
I thought one would kind of surprise people, but to be honest, I was kind of disappointed.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of teams that looked not prepared.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was a lot of stuff that I expected to see from teams that it was their strength, and I didn't. Which really surprised me because I'm like, you would think you'd come out trying to kind of play your best, doing the things that worked throughout the season. And there were teams that seemed to like almost be trying to figure out new things, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay. I see where you're coming from there. I was excited because I kind of liked that all the home teams won because first game, the home team winning the first game is a nice tone setter because it's more like a you're going to have to take this from us kind of mentality, it feels like, which I think leads to better competition most of the time. But it was kind of a letdown because you kind of thought, on paper, all these matchups seemed like really, really, really good matchups. And then after the first game, it probably was like, maybe they're not as good as we hoped.
As we thought.
Yeah. But we're here now. Couple 2-1 series. But let's start with the series the two series that are pretty much over. Statistically, we're going from history. Let's start with the Nuggets and the Lakers.
Beyond history, there's an eye test factor to how the three games go. Because last year when Boston made the comeback, like people weren't as surprised, as you would normally expect people to be when a team comes back down from 3-0.
Yeah.
So to me, this is different. This is
well, they were 3-1. These guys, people have come back from 3-1 a few times.
Boston wasn't down 3-0 to Miami last year and took it to 7.
I don't think it was 3-0 because I don't think anyone is. I think 3-0 still might be undefeated.
No, Miami won Game 7.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe they did, to get to Game 7, yeah.
And it was typical Boston things. I don't want to cling to that.
You think these teams are going to come back and get to Game 7?
No, that's what I mean. This is totally different.
Yeah, I got you.
Where they're dead. These teams are dead.
Let's start with the Nuggets and the Lakers.
You got to start with this one because for the last month, I've been talking about the Lakers ducking the Nuggets, especially in round 1.
Saying that they should have?
Yeah, when the situation lined up to where you're in the play-in and you could avoid playing the Nuggets, they should do so. Not the last month because the situation only lined up like the last week of the season, really.
Yeah. But
from the point they were about to play the Pelicans, I'm like, they should lose this game. And I was saying it as a joke.
Yeah.
I really felt it was in their best interest to avoid the Nuggets as long as possible.
I didn't disagree with you. I just wasn't so confident that the Lakers could have won the next game if it was the Warriors or the Kings.
Right.
So I don't think the Lakers were all that confident they could have won the next game either.
Right.
So I think if they wanted to make it to the playoffs at all, they better have won while they could, because they might not have won the 8 game, and then they'd be at home, a week early, 2 weeks early.
Based on what we've seen from these two teams matching up,
the
Lakers had no chance.
No,
But why? Why did you
obviously
believe that this would be a good series?
Why did I believe it would be a good series? I'm not sure if
Yes.
I believed it would be a good series. I just thought the Lakers would win a game. Is that fair?
I mean, it would be 2-1. That's a better series than we're looking at.
Yeah, I don't think I ever picked, but I think I would have taken the Nuggets in 5.
Yeah,
I just thought the Lakers would win 1, maybe 2.
What's demoralizing? It's how the Nuggets are like, just go ahead and take the lead, and we'll just take it right back.
Yeah, and it's demoralizing that the Lakers are losing winnable games. Both the last 2 games were very winnable games.
I mean, of the 11 in a row they've lost, I'm thinking at least 3 of the playoff games last year were winnable.
Yeah.
So you're constantly in winnable situations against Denver and blowing it.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a level of reflection to understand why that's happening.
Yeah.
And it's like the opposite with the Lakers.
Because they just do more of why they lost the other games.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
This third game was like depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was everything we've seen over the last 2 years of everything the Nuggets expose, everything the Lakers struggle with. It was like it all reared its ugly head in one game.
Yeah.
And honestly, what really frustrated me, because, an inside scoop for the listeners, we've been arguing about Denver a lot off.
Have we been arguing?
Not arguing, but we've disputing who to give credit. Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
My problem is we can't even have an honest conversation because there's no element of the Lakers attacking any of the Nuggets' weaknesses.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say the Lakers are the worst team to even try to figure that out with, because they're getting beat in so many different ways.
This is why I'm so mad. The majority of the NBA fan base is blaming Darvin Ham for this.
Yeah, Darvin, he deserves a lot of it.
I could have told you in November, if the Lakers lose a series, he'll be the number 1 culprit.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me that before I even noticed, like, wow, Darvin really doesn't understand the roster. There's really no defensive structure. There's
none. Barely
any offensive structure.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it over the course of the season, and now everybody's like, yo, Darvin Ham is the worst coach ever. He's been that.
Yes. LeBron and AD have just been great this season.
Exactly.
And no one else has.
That's why they're with them.
And no one else has. That's why they were in the play-in.
I expected more. I know it's crazy to say, but I expected more focus from LeBron and AD in this series.
I did too.
Like, they I know they've played great a lot, but they haven't had 48 minutes of focus.
No, they haven't. I
mean, I'm seeing the Nuggets are top to bottom focused.
Well, I cut them some slack because, like, it's hard to expect only 2 players to have it, because no one else on the Lakers has either, like, at all. Like, I get that maybe they needed 48 minutes, but let's say they gave 38. No one else on the team gave the other 10 minutes of, like, any other 10 minutes of focus. Nobody. Not Reeves, not Russell, not Torian Prince. Jackson Hayes wasn't even out there long enough. You know,
after game 2, Darvin Ham, I guess, blamed him for a lot of their problems. I don't know why. He barely played as it is.
Right.
Game 3, we went small. Like, that's like a wrong adjustment to make as the Lakers against the Nuggets.
I know, because since their shooting guard is 6'10".
I mean, honestly, if you're not prime Splash Brothers Golden State, that's probably the only team I would want to go small against Denver.
Yeah.
And for the Lakers, your size is your strength. See, this is where I touched on the team not playing to their strengths. They'll destroy Jokic for a quarter. They'll attack him, score on him. This last game, They even got him in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And they just stop. Like,
yep.
Guys, he's the weak link. What are we doing trying to score on Aaron Gordon, who's like a lockdown defender?
I know, and Jokic still gives up the most layups in the league, and they decided to take like more threes and not make them.
Exactly. That's what's it's so mind-blowing. Like, Anthony Davis will be shooting 90%, and we just stop trying to even get him looks.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm mad at him for like not seeking to get more shots, there's no structure. He'd be taking bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I be excited? I'm watching the Nuggets of all these clutch games get flawless shots down the stretch. Like, Jamal's getting exactly what he wants. Jokic is getting exactly what he wants. Even the role players are getting like favorable shots.
Yeah, they're just not settling. And the Lakers are just taking everything that's even remotely open.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the work ethic to beat Denver. Denver's continuity, chemistry, their coaching, their self-awareness, like, you're not beating that when you can't get back on a guy like Aaron Gordon. Or you can't match up with Christian Braun in transition. Like, that was your problem last year with Bruce Brown.
What happened with Austin Reeves this series, in your opinion?
I mean, I guess you could say he came back to reality. I mean, the Lakers have, like, I don't know how to word it, I guess. The Lakers have made him seem better than he's been.
He's performed really well, probably above his ability throughout the season. And they gave him a lot of confidence. And for some reason in this series, it looked like they just sucked the confidence right out of him, like before the series started. And just like, hey, you're not going to be ready for this. And then he went and just proved that he wasn't ready for it.
See, another thing, like, you would think is the Lakers' strength. If there's a single role player you could point to and say LeBron and AD trusted him, it's Austin Reeves.
Right. I didn't see any of that trust.
We're force-feeding deloading instead.
Right. Who's shooting historically bad.
Like, it's been an abomination.
Yeah.
Deloading, I don't know how he exceeded last year's atrocious play, but he's done that.
By a long shot.
And again, it's like, it frustrates me because the narrative between these two teams, especially from the Lakers side, was we can't wait to run it back. Coming into the year, AD is talking about how me and LeBron had conversations in the offseason about all their trash talk, which was their goddamn coach, by the way, which was like subtle parade jabs, and you're having off-season conversations. Okay, let's run it back.
Right. And
this is what we get.
Yeah, what happened to Hachimura in this series? Just same thing. It just I saw no confidence. They didn't feed him anything while he was open. He didn't take any open shots. You know, he played terrible defense these 3 games.
And I've been kind of looking back on some of the stuff from last year's series. You remember how excited the Lakers were when Rui defended Jokic well for like a quarter? And the Lakers thought, like, we found the adjustment to get back in this series. And Michael Malone literally got offended at that. Like, he went out of his way in a press conference to say, like, are they serious? They think we haven't seen putting a better defender on Jokic? Like, you think that's all it takes to stop us? And they haven't won a game since. Like, you know, it's just the Nuggets are not even playing their best, and they're making it look easy.
My thing with Rui specifically isn't even the defense, because, I mean, that was all that was just for show, him being able to stop Jokic and stuff. But he made a combined 5 field goals in 3 games so far. 5. He took 4 field goals last game and took 4 field goals in the first game. Like, why is he out there?
I don't know. Taurean Prince shooting everything he touches.
Everything. And then, like I mentioned off air, like I just don't understand why it's so hard to use Dinwiddie correctly. I'm not saying Dinwiddie should come and like make a difference in the series, but why is Dinwiddie at like the small forward, power forward position? He's guarding guys he shouldn't be guarding. He's in spots he shouldn't be in. He's in like a dunker spot. And like, I just don't understand it.
I don't either. Darvin Ham has like, I can't even call him a mad scientist. I wish I could I would be okay calling him a mad scientist and saying, you know what, Denver's too good. You don't know what it takes. It's been like, again, forget the Nuggets. Just look at the Lakers in a vacuum. They're not even like seeking to play their best basketball.
They're not.
I don't see any structure for like LeBron pick and rolls, for LeBron and AD to run pick and rolls with Reeves. Where did that go?
I haven't seen it at all.
What happened? Like now all of a sudden Reeves only spaces the floor?
Yeah, this is one of those situations you mentioned at the start of the pod. It looked like they're testing things out or trying new things in like
against the defending champions.
Right.
Like you couldn't have picked the worst matchup to figure yourself out.
Yeah. If you're a high seed, I'm cool with you trying stuff, but low seeds shouldn't be trying anything. None of them.
Barely got to the playoffs. Like, how dare you?
Exactly.
This game 3, man, the ease of or like the quality of Aaron Gordon's shots, it was like a joke. Like Aaron Gordon could have been hammered and made all of those layups and dunks that he was getting because there was nobody around him.
Nobody.
The Lakers don't even understand what the Nuggets do well, it seems like.
Let's talk about like the future of the Lakers because this is over. There's really no sense in going too deep into the games because it's a wrap. So where do you think the Lakers go from here? Do they run it back again? Is LeBron even still playing basketball again?
I mean, Darvin Ham has to be gone within 2 days.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not gone already.
Bro,
to be honest. Like after game 2, I've seen enough.
Like, Denver's rotation has regressed from last year, and they're beating you easier. Like it's so embarrassing.
Ways,
It's so embarrassing that you've regressed in every capacity. Every capacity from last year, the Lakers are worse.
Yeah.
There's no way you bring Darvin Ham back in. I don't mind this roster. I still think this roster has like championship potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't like a roster that's so messed up that you can't compete with it with one of the better teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with LeBron and AD, still playing at an extremely high level.
Yeah. I do think they're missing maybe one more reliable player. But yeah, as far as those guys, the nucleus is solid. And I like the young pieces that they do have. So I agree.
You can't run it back with this level of like ineptitude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been objectively worse than Frank Vogel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not even a debate. Sure. Like you downgraded a coach. You should apologize to the fan base as you're hiring the next coach. Because by the way, again, I didn't forget you disrespected Frank Vogel after he won you a title.
Yeah.
But now you should disrespect Darvin Ham. You should kick his ass out after the last game in the post-game conference.
Yep.
He should be resigning or announcing, Rob informed me I won't be coming back.
Yeah, I'm going to coach this last game, but I won't be returning.
There you go.
They do it in college all the time.
It's been
Okay, let's
so atrocious.
segue into the next 3-0 series, Minnesota Phoenix. Minnesota's up 3-0. Minnesota looks really good. Their defense looks really good. And the role players are just like playing fantastic. Fantastic.
Minnesota's emerging as a contender. Is that fair to say?
Say it again?
They're emerging as a contender.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I considered them a contender before the playoffs.
I was skeptical because I didn't really like there was a lot of times I watched him and didn't like the shots they generated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you know what it is with the Wolves and why I'm starting to believe in them very quickly?
Mm-hmm. What?
They've been their leadership has been flawless.
Yeah.
For all the concerns we've talked about with leadership, Lakers are one of them. Phoenix has been atrocious as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at a guy emerging as one of the best leaders in the game. He's one of the youngest players, so I don't want to hear nothing about all these other dudes who've been in the league for a decade plus who are struggling to lead. Anthony Edwards is giving y'all the blueprint.
Yeah.
And the massive reason why it's like you could believe in it because his leadership didn't change whatsoever in game 2, and he didn't play well.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play well, shot horribly, couldn't even really get like good shots, and his leadership wasn't phased in the slightest. His belief in his teammates like didn't waver at all.
Yep.
But like this series again, I don't want to highlight the negative overwhelmingly. But Phoenix has been the worst team in the playoffs.
Yeah, they have. They've been bad at everything. Even the 3 stars just, I mean, they're taking a lot of shots and not really getting any momentum. You know, I think sometimes the analytic people get so mystified by the field goal percentage that they don't look at like the amount of shots that they missed and don't like think that that's a lot of missed shots. Like, yeah, you could take 25 shots and have a good field goal percentage, but you could still miss like 13 shots and still have a really good field goal percentage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what the Phoenix guys do a lot. And you can't do that against the Timberwolves because they play really good defense and they get up and down the court very well. You can't have a bunch of long rebounds with Anthony Edwards.
I hate to say it, but this was somehow a worse matchup for the Suns than Denver was to the Lakers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like Phoenix getting the one team that's capable of lockdown defense in the conference is like, is a recipe for disaster.
That has been the most impressive thing, that even when Anthony Edwards isn't shooting well, even when the team just isn't scoring that well, both teams scoring went down. Like, yeah, we're not shooting well, but we're just not going to let you shoot well either. And I mean, that's like a contender. That's finals level, championship level DNA there, being able to do that. But yeah, Phoenix, it's just bad. Everything is bad. It's hard even for me to start with what's bad. Everything looks bad.
I mean, I told you this after the second game. Like, you feel the desperation from the Lakers. The attention to detail is completely absent.
Yeah.
With Phoenix, it's both. I don't feel a desire to like fight back into the games. I don't feel a desire to. I mean, you went home and got your ass whooped exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're our leader is asking for the booze to motivate the team. Like, how pathetic. I mean, these guys, it's LeBron with the like down 3-0. Oh, it's just basketball. Okay, loser. Now it's KD talking about hopefully the booze motivate us. What? What are you saying? Dude, the boos are amping up the Wolves to play even better defense.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, KD, we've had extensive conversations about KD. You know, anybody who's listened to the podcast, you know how we feel about KD. He's getting exposed again. It's been a fucking it's now becoming the trend. I'll let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Are you kidding me? This is the best we got?
I'm really disappointed in both of them. And I'm not necessarily a fan of either of them, but seriously disappointed.
They've been
Beal.
like I'm second guessing myself in calling them guards.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
just basketball players they are. Just some guys.
I mean,
just some dudes.
Times, like, forget any level of coaching, because almost all of the like really bad breakdowns with the Lakers, it's bad game plan, bad strategy.
Yeah.
It's Phoenix, you're already inept offensively. By the way, the people who've been watching the stats, especially the advanced stats, have started to pick up on it. You've mentioned the fourth quarter, how atrocious it's been. JJ has been talking about it on his podcast a bunch. Like, everybody who's discussed Phoenix on TV has addressed it.
Yeah.
Guys, like, Jaden McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker have blown up like 50% of Phoenix's plays just pressuring those two guys.
Yeah.
And it's like a pride thing. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to ask Frank Vogel to take the ball out of your hands? He's already trying. Guys, don't forget, we don't have a point guard.
Yeah, and those two guys are kind of beyond coaching. I mean, I don't think either of them listen to coaches anymore. I don't think they have, especially Booker, I don't think they have in a long time. Maybe it's just because they haven't had a good coach in a long time. But when you have stars like that, there's only so much, like, ball dominant stars like them. There's only so much the coach can say.
Exactly.
Because they're just not going to do it if they don't want to do it.
I can't fathom. We're on the verge of going down 3-0, which means we're done. And the coach is having to ask us to lock in off of a bad call that doesn't even really impact the game.
It was like the first 3 minutes of the game.
And it was like a marginal bad call that anybody is liable to get.
Yeah. And the team
it wasn't like, you know, somebody picking up an extra foul and now your rotation's fucked. Like, it was just a questionable call. And Frank Vogel is having to simulate Michael Jordan level focus.
Yeah.
The clip of MJ doing the eyes, I forgot who it was to, but like, are you kidding me? 5 minutes into the game?
Yeah.
I fell asleep on this third game. And I'm watching these highlights and I'm like, how are they getting spanked exactly like they did in Minnesota? Like, they're just bullying the ball from them, just like flexing and laughing at them every play.
You know, they had a role player problem all season long. And it seemed like at times they were trying to pretend like it really wasn't that serious. But now
they tried all year to pretend like it wasn't serious.
Yeah, but now, like, it's really bad. Like, it's really, really bad. Royce O'Neal, is anyone having a worse, like, series than him in the whole playoffs?
I mean, deloading.
Oh, yeah.
But deloading did have the hot game with game 2.
At least
he was still playing like trash, but he made a lot of shots.
Royce O'Neal had 0 points. He was minus 23 plus and minus last night. Minus 23. For people who don't understand, it really can't get any worse than that. Minus 23 is so bad. Game before that, Royce O'Neal, 0 points, minus 5. Drew Eubanks came in the game for less time than Royce O'Neal and got 8 shots off. Royce O'Neal had 0 shots off in 17 minutes and 27 seconds. That was game 2. Game 1, Royce O'Neal, he took 10 shots, 50%, but he was minus 17 in that game. They didn't have Grayson Allen for 2 of these games. I mean, for one of these games, half of the other. They acted like it was a big deal when Grayson Allen had taken a combined 4 shots before the injury. Like, oh my God, we lost Grayson Allen. He's done nothing. My point is, it's another situation where Durant is going to get all these excuses.
His plus minus hasn't been pretty either, by the way. His stats have been solid. His plus minus has been garbage.
And it always is. People just don't like to talk about it all the time. It usually is bad. First game, he had the worst plus minus on the team. First game. Nurkic has done nothing for them. I mean, but any good coach, any good team would know, hey, we're going against 2 centers better than Nurkic. He's probably not going to help us out that much. Both their centers are better than him.
See, like, Nurkic was the guy I was looking at. If Phoenix was going to have any marginal chance, to me, like, Nurkic would have had to be a focal point. Like he was, I talked about this throughout the season, like, their only hope of their offense looking like, reasonable and somewhat versatile was when they played through him.
Yeah, and he's distributing the ball well, and he's like at the high post making passes.
Yes. Yeah, they've gotten away from that.
Right, and I kind of expected them to get away from that because I knew that the narrative around the league.
Yep.
Yeah, the narrative around the league is that the stars have to take you somewhere. And I know these guys would like force that narrative. Like, oh, we have to do something. So I knew they would do too much. And then Nurkic, barely gets the ball for these 3 games. Second game, he played pretty good, but and that was their best game. The other 2 games, they just didn't even really pass it to him.
I feel bad for Phoenix because, like we've said, they sold their soul to get Kevin Durant, and now they're playing soulless basketball.
Yeah, and I mean, they sold their soul to get Beal too. I mean, CP could have had them in a different mindset here. Man, and I'm saying that CP would have changed the outcome of these games. I don't really think he would have, but I feel like you would have saw at least a little more fight than what we're seeing from them, and them not just going out like playing like it's another pickup game after they lost the first 2 pickup games. Like, it's no big deal. It's just basketball, like LeBron said.
I do have one little minor gripe with Vogel. We signed IT for no reason, but Bol is sitting there for no reason, and you keep pretending like he's going to go out there and like do something cool, and he hasn't because he's not good. IT has actually been good. Can we give him a shot?
He should give him a shot.
Like maybe I got a little hyped. I got a little motivated by campaign the other day, turning the fuck up. But it's like sometimes you need a spark. Why the fuck did you sign IT? Like you are desperate for a spark. Like he's literally, that's why I would think you would sign him.
For some reason, he doesn't play any of the spark guys. I think Okogie is a nice spark guy. I like what Roddy does, even though he never gets in. And like you said, Isaiah Thomas is a scoring machine. He's still a scoring machine, and can go in there and just try something. And he doesn't try. He'd just rather lose by 25 with the guys that help him lose by 25. Let them do what they do best, I guess.
Vogel, I mean, I feel bad for Vogel because his career is being like brutally murdered before our eyes. It's like we're the camp counselors at like the Jason Voorhees camp. We can't do shit, and he's just being brutally murdered.
He is, yeah, and he's really not a bad coach. It's just these situations. I remember in the offseason, I mentioned this on the podcast. people probably won't remember, but I said coaches are running from this Phoenix job. No coach wants this job. And, everyone was
Vogel
like, oh,
needed
man,
it.
this is the team I would want to
Vogel
go.
had been looking for work.
Yeah. But I remember the media, oh, this is the team, man. You got Durant. Who wouldn't want to coach this team? Nobody wants to coach Durant. Who has enjoyed coaching Durant?
Nobody.
Name me one coach who's enjoyed coaching Kevin Durant.
Not one. Whoever coached him at Texas, maybe?
Rick Barnes. I think he has more fun now at Tennessee. Shout out to Tennessee, my alma mater.
You might be right.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not saying Durant is a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy in any way, or I don't think it's something he has against coaches. I just think he's a hard to coach guy, and it's hard to coach the pieces around him because of how he is.
He's just stuck in his ways, man. He's stuck in his ways because he's been what's weird is his mentality since having a falling out with Golden State has been just very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps saying, I just want to hoop, but then you want to customize how you hoop.
Right.
But then you don't want to work hard to make that customization work. I don't really understand you're complaining on one side, but yet you don't want to adjust to anybody on the other side.
Right.
It's just strange.
Yeah, it is strange. Phoenix is moving forward, Phoenix is in one of the worst contract situations in the entire league. Booker is signed, I think, through 2028. Beal has a no trade clause, and Durant just does whatever he wants. So it's hard to determine what the team is going to do from here. This is a team I definitely would not run it back.
It would be an embarrassment if they ran it back.
And it's just, the guys have too much value to run it back. Imagine, I'm not saying they should trade Booker, but if they traded Booker, you could have a whole new team, an entire new team, and it would be fine. And you could work with
around, you could actually put together structure. Phoenix doesn't even have bad. I wish they'd have bad structure. They don't have any.
Right. Durant, I get it. He's a little bit old, and unless you're a contender, I don't really know why you would trade for Durant. He's not going to lead a young group of guys. He's already proven multiple times he can't do that. So I get his trade value might be lower, but still you can get another piece that would better fit this, and you could save some money and work with the free agency. But, this isn't going to work. These guys are 3 max contracts. They have all their max contracts that they could possibly have. Guys are on no trade clauses. Guys have super maxes. It's just too much. Way too much.
It's depressing. Again, the Lakers, a new coach, one free agent signing, and we're back. We're right back at it.
Yeah.
With Phoenix, there's no 2 things that clean this up.
No, it's not. Not if you keep the 3 guys you have.
The drastic idea of maybe a blockbuster D-Book trade.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's at least interesting, and that shows that you're self-aware enough that this is broken.
Yeah.
This is just not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Phoenix, I'm getting scared of how much better the younger teams are getting.
Yeah.
Maybe LeBron and AD have some fear of that as well, but Phoenix isn't even close to competing with how the young teams are developing.
I know, especially in the West.
Again,
Houston is coming.
Houston is on its way.
Memphis is just one. I mean, when Ja comes back, they're right back at it. Yeah, they're just Ja coming back to being right back at it. And all the teams ahead of them in the standings are younger than them. So, it's tough.
Their future looks horrible. It looks it doesn't even look dark. It looks pitch black.
Yeah, in San Antonio, they're one move away from being, probably on the top side of the playoffs, to be honest. maybe 2
San
moves
Antonio
away.
is developing a culture. Like their progress is important. It's valuable. It'll create like winning basketball moving forward.
Yep.
And Phoenix has sacrificed literally every winning player they had. And I include CP in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is what you get.
Let's go to the East. Let's not talk too much about the Celtics and Heat until after. We're recording this on Saturday morning, so they haven't played their third game yet, so we'll hold off on them.
This series has been fun though. Like Miami and Boston just they push each other's buttons so well.
Yeah, they're at rivalry status. They should be considered full out rivalries now.
100%.
Let's go to Bucks Pacers. So the Bucks have to play most of the series without Giannis. And this is why I want to say more, but I don't really know if there's much more for me to say. But, you know, they're making a lot of mistakes, and the mistakes are like the clear things that we know that the Pacers are good at. What do the Pacers do well? They get up and down the court. They get shots off. They get fast breaks. And the Bucks aren't stopping any of that. None of it. And it seems like in the first game they did outscore them. And second game, it seems like they were trying to.
It was Dame came out nuclear hot. They didn't expect it. And then it was an even game after that. Yeah.
And same thing happened in the second game, except it wasn't an even game after that.
Yeah.
The Pacers just looked great, and Siakam also came out really hot. So, and then this last game, overtime game, was a really back and forth game. It was a very winnable game for Milwaukee. But all three of these games, just that gaping hole of Greek Freak not being there, is just so obvious that they need him. Biggest thing from this series is offensive rebounds, right?
Yes, and it's the Pacers. Like they're feasting on the glass.
Yep, easily.
Like, you're right that Giannis helps, but it's the guys that are already supposed to help that are like getting exposed.
They are.
Yeah. You know, it's Brook Lopez. We've gotten to the point where Brook Lopez is not even near rebounds. Forget not getting them. He's not even near the ball to rebound.
Yep.
I mean, Bobby Portis can't like consistently box out Siakam because Siakam is faster. Like Siakam's a lot more mobile. You know, he's got an athletic edge that I'm not mad at Bobby, but it's like in clutch situations, you got to find a way.
Yeah.
AD has this problem with Jokic. It's like you can box him out, you can out rebound him, but in key moments, you don't put a body on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a lack of focus you can't have. And the Bucks have had this past game. We're just packed with those moments.
Yep, they got out offensive rebounded by 19.
Oh. Indiana beat them in second chance points by 17, something like that, 15.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
you're already having a tough time with them in transition.
Yeah,
which is that's the Pacers' strength. I get it, but you still in critical moments, Siakam cannot sneak behind your defense.
Right.
I mean, in that second game, at one point, he's at this point averaging, 35 a game, and you're letting him sneak past you for free layups and free throws.
Mm-hmm.
That's just bad attention to detail.
Yeah.
And to me, I can't believe I'm saying this. Doc has done a relatively decent job.
I think he has too. Yeah. I can't believe you're saying that either.
The zone has sucked this past game. But it's Brook Lopez. Everything that sucked about the zone centered around Brook Lopez.
Yeah, and their offense, honestly, in this game.
Yes, and they don't have the luxury of benching him. I get it.
Yeah,
but you have to. You just, to me, you can do more to get him layups. I mean, Brook Lopez is like not even involved in the offense now. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? That's not the fix we were looking for. It's you should keep him as the floor spacer, but don't live and die by that.
Right.
So I feel like the Bucks have been closer to controlling this series than it seems. And it's been like marginal little things that's prevented them from taking that control.
It has. Yeah. It's been very small mistakes. It's not that the Pacers are like really beating them bad. It's just they just need to tighten up. They don't look like they're they don't look locked in.
Doc got to hit him with what Frank Vogel was trying to hit Phoenix with.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good series. I mean, they stole one. Pacers stole one in Milwaukee. We'll see if Milwaukee can steal one in Indiana. But
the key here, to me, the key is which game Giannis could come back.
Right.
Like if he only comes back for Game 7, if it's 3-3 and he's coming back barely healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to pick Milwaukee in that spot.
Right.
Because one massive concern that we haven't talked about moving forward is Lillard's health is not getting better as this series has gone on.
Right. He's playing really hard and he's playing a lot.
Yes. And he's been trying to he's trying to not just shoot, which I love, but in the playoffs, the more you drive, the more you get your ass whooped, even if you're scoring.
Yeah.
And he's taken a lot of hard falls on contact drives, and you see it because this last game he was really getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just, again, I like what I'm seeing from the Bucks. To me, the basketball gods have cursed them more than anything. At full strength, I don't think anybody's doubting that Milwaukee is handling this series at full strength.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And Middleton looks really good. I'm glad Middleton is healthy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He looks great. Let's go to let's pick another East.
I mean,
Cavs Magic or Knicks 76ers?
Let's touch on Cavs Magic because there's a lot less to discuss there.
Yeah, first 2 games, Cavs looked like the more mature team. They looked like the more focused team. Neither team scored 100 points until this last game, which was interesting, I guess. Scoring hasn't been great in any of these games. But in Orlando blew Cleveland off the floor. Just absolutely blew them off the floor. They looked great. They looked more energetic. So, what do you think going into Game 4 with this series?
I'm scared for Cleveland, I'll be honest.
Okay.
And it's their offense looked really bad in the third game.
It did.
And it's like the simple things, again, where you're feeding guys you shouldn't be playing through.
You know what Cleveland reminds me of sometimes? Remember the series Atlanta played against Miami? After Trey had a really good year. I want to say it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, when Miami just cooked them and was locking him the fuck up. Yeah.
Yes, and they showed that if you just double Trey and just don't worry about everyone else, Atlanta just can't beat you. That's what Cleveland allows teams to do to them sometimes. And in this Game 3, they just let the Magic just completely focus their defense on Donovan, and then no one else played, no one else could do anything. It just sucked all the energy out of their offense. And, Donovan had to force shots when he's really not, doesn't really force shots that often. But he had to because the game was out of control. And then it kind of made other guys made LeVert try to beat them, made Garland take more shots than he needed to. They forced a lot of turnovers. It was just they just took Donovan out of the game, and the game was basically over. And Cleveland can't let them do that twice. Donovan can shoot bad, but when he's like completely out of the game, he really can't even facilitate that well.
In my opinion, all 3 losses, obviously Orlando's 2 losses included.
Yeah.
The losing team has been like really weirdly inept offensively. It's not even so much the defense. Mm-hmm. It's like it's when, you take something away and the next adjustment should be basic, but it's like the adjustment is harder than you would think because the player that's now has more of a prominent role is making really questionable decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Why does Cleveland, and it's clearly a mutual thing, why does Cleveland want us to believe that Mobley could shoot?
I don't know.
He hit a couple in game 1, and the entire roster got excited as if the floor spacing has been figured out.
Right.
He hasn't done shit since. Defensively, he is feather light.
Mm-hmm.
He weighs nothing. Him and Bol are I don't know how they managed to weigh negative pounds on the basketball court.
Especially at their ages now, they're not rookies anymore.
Right. They've been playing basketball. They've been spending time in the weight room. Somehow it's making are you guys not eating? What is happening?
Yeah, Suggs can just drive right into Mobley, and Mobley can't stop him. If Suggs gets up there earlier, it's over.
It's over.
Banchero just bodies him everywhere. And once Banchero realized he could body him, he's been nonstop.
He's been dominant ever since.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's the concerning thing to me is Orlando is figuring out their offensive woes faster.
They are.
Again, maybe I'm reading into this third game too much, but Orlando's staying home for this fourth game. Their confidence is not going down.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Suggs' eyes were like this because he's like, dude, I could dominate these guys. I'm not out here to guard.
Yeah.
So
only shots he missed last game were 2 threes. He didn't miss anything.
And to me, the Orlando's bench is managing the game better.
They are.
I mean, they are better. They have more talent, but the Cleveland has significantly more experience.
Yeah.
And it's not showing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm scared for Cleveland moving forward. I would have to, Donovan would have to get hurt for me not to believe in him to win this.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot stress enough. I have hated damn near every minute of Darius Garland being out there.
Yeah.
Mobley is soft, but Mobley has done good things. He's blocked shots. He's finished inside. Like, he's used some footwork that I've been, like, impressed with.
He's been on the glass, too.
Yeah, he's rebounding the ball. He's, like, he's still not making good transition decisions, but, you know, the effort is there.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Garland is showing no improvement at all.
As a basketball player.
And I'm looking at Orlando guards who are in their first playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have no idea how to, like, perform in this moment. And they're figuring it out faster than a guy who's already been there.
This is his third, right? Garland? Yeah.
He looks lost.
Yeah.
He looks out of place. I mean, who does he have chemistry with? Name me another player he has chemistry with. Nobody
to me. I've been talking about it. Any people listen to the pod all year? Yeah. I've been talking about it all year. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that it's like it's showing
worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and he doesn't know how to get guys, like, get his teammates going. Where, like, you know, most point guards, experienced point guards say, all right, Donovan isn't hitting his three. Let me run this action near him, get him a little more open, get him something else. or draw his defense, draw his defender, get a switch. Let me go at his man. He goes at my man. Something you don't, and that's the chemistry you're talking about. He doesn't do that for any of the players, not just Donovan. Even Mobley would be nice.
It's like every time he needs to take 2 dribbles, he takes 3. Every time he needs to take 1, he takes 2. It's like, dude, this is the second year in a row you're hurting the team with this shit. Like, guys, I know there's 6 coaches that are watching this film. Like, this is a minor adjustment that should be easy to make, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah, and he doesn't have. And I mean, you would think that he would have another way to play. Like you're saying, 6 coaches are watching this, going over this. 4 or 5 are taking notes and talking to Mosley about it. And you'd think that they would be able to come out and Garland would notice, oh, they think I'm going to do this. I could do something else. No, he's just going to keep trying to over dribble, trying to get into the paint, trying to take long threes. He goes too deep every time he drives. Like, hey, just stop at the elbow. No, I have to get 2 feet into the paint, and then it's probably going to be a turnover trying to kick it out. It's tough to watch. It's very tough to watch for me.
You know what it is?
I do like
to me, like, the NBA is so overwhelmingly drive and kick that if you don't look good in drive and kick basketball, like, it's jarring.
Yeah.
It's so noticeable because it's like the most basic way to play.
Yep.
It's really, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know what his individual fix is at this point.
Yeah, me either. Okay. Moving on from that series, let's go to the Knicks 76ers. The best series of the entire playoffs.
Easy. Absolutely.
Easily.
A new rivalry potentially emerging.
Yeah. Like rehashing of a rivalry. They used to be a rivalry somewhat, but now it's like, I just can't wait to see this next game. All these games have been just very, very good. They've all been pretty close. Come down to big shots at the end. I don't have like a lot of analysis for this series though, because it's been so close. Just both teams. I mean, the Knicks look fantastic.
The problem is
they're
the Knicks
really impressing me.
The Knicks have like so much of their greatness is like pure competitive willpower.
It is.
That like they're so competitive that they'll zone in on Tom Thibodeau's coaching more at like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they'll go from like a good defensive team to Philly can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, holy shit, like it ain't like the Knicks got the personnel out there. They'll do it with like Bogdanovich for a minute.
One thing I love about the Knicks, everyone is always moving. Like, and obviously Brunson does like a ISO here and there, but on defense and on offense, it just feels like there's just so much energy on the court from them.
They're always such a unit.
They are, yeah. No one is ever out of what the team is doing. It's beautiful chemistry, even for like a young team in a relatively newly constructed team. Because
I've been joking about it all year, though.
Has Mitchell Robinson the only one that's been there for like more than 2 years? Yeah, OG's new, Hart's new, yeah. Hartenstein's new, DiVincenzo's new.
Yeah,
McBride is young.
All new guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Burks
Randall
came back.
Maybe 3. Randall's been there 2-3 years, maybe 4.
Yeah, probably 4 now. Yeah.
Like the overall cast is very new. They don't have like the Nuggets level of years of chemistry development.
Right. I mean, only Robinson and McBride were drafted by the Knicks.
Yes.
Nobody else was. Jericho Sims. Everybody else came through trade.
Again, the Knicks, to me, I've joked about it all year.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up 3 automatic chemistry boost guys.
Mm-hmm.
That not only are they friends, but they're like impeccable team-oriented players.
Yeah.
You got to admit, like, even though I was joking when they first got DiVincenzo and I was like, they put the three Villanova guys together, like, you got to admit you're seeing their leadership reflect on this team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I figured it would, but I mean, I didn't know that meant they would win.
Make them this good, though.
Right. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
And that to me has been just, it's like everybody I've talked to is having so much fun watching the Knicks. Not just the New York fans. They're a team. It's impossible not to root for them.
And it's great basketball.
Right.
It's exciting basketball. The other thing about those guys is those guys all went to college for a while, so they've been like around teams for a long time. They played for great coaches throughout their careers. Those three guys, I mean, they are basketball greatness. And when I say greatness, I don't mean NBA greatness. I mean, these guys have done great things in basketball. They're NCAA champions. So, we've been on championship teams.
Philly has been a bit disappointing.
You expected more from Philly?
I expected more chemistry from them.
Okay.
Like, they're down 2-1, and again, the games have been close.
Mm-hmm.
But their reason, to me, the Knicks is pure chemistry, pure willpower, like competitive fire. It's coaching as well has been massive. Tibbs has just been like cooking up just masterclass defensive possessions, minute after minute.
Yeah.
Like, the Sixers have a lot of guys not playing well.
Yeah, the role guys. It's kind of weird.
Like Oubre is a shocker to me.
Me too.
Because he's not really, there's no change. It's just him not playing well the same way he was playing well all year.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, again, in the playoffs, you can't just have fire. Like, you can't just be a hyped. We're going to talk about another series that just got exposed for being pure hype and no attention to detail. But it's, to me, like, you have to lock in on the game plan. You have to lock in on what you're trying to do. And Oubre's been trying to be like the hype guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, this series has been so hyped. Oubre, we need you to, like, really move your feet. We need you to, like, really see the kick out or see the drive instead of the shot. Like, it's just, again, marginal things that not just Oubre. A lot of the Sixers role players have just struggled to see.
Yeah.
And again, I expected better from them, even though their season was a bit rocky.
Yeah, the role players, I think, are also struggling to, like, really get involved. Like, Batum played 30 minutes or 29 minutes, and even in the win, and he only took 2 shots in 29 minutes.
And he was a massive reason they won the play-in game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's only averaging, like, I want to say not even 4 shots a game right now. And I'm not saying he has to come out and get 10, 15, 20, but he's someone that had been involved, especially while Embiid was out, that is just, like, really taking a major step back. Some of the other guys, like Tobias, is really not being a threat like he should be. Like you mentioned Oubre.
Tobias, you asked who's had a worse playoffs than who was it that you asked that wasn't D'Lo?
Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, Tobias is in that conversation.
He's in it. Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah.
All-team worst playoff performer. It's been so
that would
bad.
be a crazy award. We got to give that. All playoffs, worst performers. Yeah. What are you expecting out of Game 4?
You know what it is? Like, the games are going on, and I'm really trying to frame how I feel about Maxey and Embiid as a duo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really tough because they're both individually so talented. Like, they're so nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this Game 3 was just like a prime example of, to me, they kind of both won it individually. More so Embiid, of course. But, Maxey also was very aggressive, very confident, coming off of a game where, he kind of got bullied.
Yeah.
But I just Philly, the two of them specifically, I gotta see more plays together.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're getting away from the handoffs. Surprisingly, I'm not sure why. I love when they run handoffs.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a little more stagnant of like play through Maxey or play through Embiid. Like we can put that together.
Yeah, I understand that. I agree. I think
I worry about how much of it has been the role players struggling.
That's definitely a part because they're easier to check if you don't have to check anybody else. I mean, you have to check them, but if everyone else is playing particularly bad, they're a lot easier to check. For me, I think that the Maxey Lowry situation is still a little bit weird. I think they're trying to figure out who plays what role. And for me, that's been muddying up the Embiid and Maxey chemistry. Because, Maxey, sometimes it's like Maxey's trying to play point guard and play, attacker. And then Lowry is trying to play role player and point guard.
I see what you mean. Lowry has been a weird – he's almost leading them too much.
Uh-huh.
Where, to your point, he's way more involved than you would expect in almost every play. And it's Tobias has been awful, but it's really strange that Tobias doesn't even touch the ball while Lowry is taking contested shots.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, and this is me reaching into a little bit of conspiracy, Lowry's been trying to put on for the Philly faithful.
That's fair.
He's really been trying to eat for Philly, for his local people. He's from there. He played another Villanova guy.
Yeah.
But he's he's been doing a lot of celebrating to the crowd, talking to specific people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is not again, he's a competitive guy, but he's not petty with crowds normally. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So he's showing the local side of him, in my opinion.
He is, absolutely. Yeah. He probably went to all his favorite spots and stuff. I agree. It does seem like he's a little more involved, but then for me, I just don't think they've found the balance. Because there is sometimes I wish Maxey let the ball go and Lowry made some plays instead of Maxey trying to attack and make plays. Maxey, just go score, let Lowry make the passes. That was the first two games for me. I thought Maxey maybe passed a little too much or was trying to make too many plays and it got a little bit out of control. But then the last game, I felt like he attacked more and didn't really focus on making a lot of plays. I thought he played better. So I don't know. So I think that balance between Lowry being the facilitator and Maxey being the attacker, I think is something they're struggling with.
I think Nick Nurse throwing Campaign out there really validates that, because I think he saw the two of them at Philly's worst. It's been the two of them struggling the most.
Mm-hmm.
And even in this game, they needed a guy to almost think less, either just attack or swing it.
Exactly. And Payne did that.
Campaign understood the assignment.
Yep.
He came out there getting him up. First shot, he's screaming, "Play me!" I mean, that shit had me hyped. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
And Campaign is a guy. He's struggled to establish a spot for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been as good of a spark plug in his career as a lot of guards.
He has, yeah.
And
like you said, he does.
I like that Nick Nurse is reaching in deeper into the bench.
And D'Anthony Melton is healthy and getting DNPs. That's been kind of strange. Yeah. He's not listed as inactive anymore.
How the fuck did he fall out of the rotation? Because Buddy is falling out of it too.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, Payne did just what you said, just attack or swing it, and that I think Maxey could just do that, and they could maybe be better off, and let Lowry work on the pick and roll and trying to figure out who needs to get involved and stuff. But when Maxey thinks that much, it gets kind of messy for me as a fan of these guys. But yeah, I don't know why Melton's not playing it. I'm not sure if maybe last game he was like game time decision, but he's listed as active. So Covington's the only one listed as inactive.
Game 1, he had to have been out because I remember seeing him with something with his back.
He was out game 1. Game time decision on Thursday, and then available to play. So he was game time decision. So maybe he wasn't all the way 100%.
He's still getting back. By the way, credit to DeAnthony Melton for if he's not healthy enough to play, he's not out there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, another series we're about to talk about where somebody isn't doing that in the best interest for the team.
Let's do it. We're good on this one. Knicks,
I'm curious. I hope Buddy plays better. I don't know if Nick Nurse will give him a chance, but Buddy struggled, and Nick Nurse quickly shunned him for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need him for reliable perimeter. And Buddy's a better playmaker than people give him credit for. So
he is. He sees the floor well. He does.
Yeah, I would like to see him out there a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Clippers, Mavs.
Yes.
I gotta crack my neck for the Kawhi hate. Gotta load it up. Again, similar to Durant, if you listen to the podcast for a while, you know how I feel about Kawhi Leonard. I don't really feel like rehashing it. Let me just say, I really liked what the Clippers did in this first game. I loved it. I thought they looked fantastic. I had absolutely nothing negative to say about the Clippers after game 1. And
then
honestly,
Kawhi came back.
Yeah, and all that changed very quickly with Kawhi, who came out and shot 7 for 17, 0 for 5 from 3, and was -8 in the second game. And Dallas looked really good. So I'm not taking anything away from Dallas. I think they played really well. Their chemistry, did anyone make more moves than them at the deadline?
No.
It's not like
their starting front court was acquired at the deadline.
Right.
And it's been awesome,
and then,
by the way.
And then Exum, I don't know when they got Exum. I don't know if he's been there since the beginning, but the Exum edition this year, at least him playing more, has been fantastic for them. He's helped in a lot of ways, ball handling. He's been hitting threes. Josh Green just coming back from injury also. He came in there and played pretty well. And really none of those guys did much in this game. It was really just the main core guys.
Dallas had an active year. Lively was their rookie.
Yeah.
He easily, Hawkes is up there too, but Lively's having a massive impact in the playoffs. Not a lot of rookies could say that.
Yeah, if I was voting all rookie team, he'd definitely be first team all rookie team at center. He's been one of the best centers.
Yeah.
Probably second team, I guess. Chet and Wemby are both centers. But, yeah. Kawhi comes back and the Clippers' chemistry is just completely destroyed. Just all around. Everybody. I don't have anything positive to say about them in the second game. Yes,
and it's this is as glaring as of an example as we've ever had. You're already to me, it's a glaring example that your best playoff run was without him.
Yeah,
people keep forgetting that the Clippers' closest time to being a contender was when Kawhi was definitively gone for the playoffs.
Yep.
And
that was the point PG year, right?
Yes, and Reggie Jackson's resurgence. Who, by the way, Kawhi hated. Not to really clear up the point.
Yeah.
But this, like you said, game one, there was no chemistry questions.
None.
I had no moment of James has gotten going, keep going. PG got it going, keep going. Why are you stopping? Like, why are we forcing balance when, like, it's like if Damian Lillard is putting up 30 in a quarter and all of a sudden he's forcing Giannis the ball. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Right.
And we only do this, like, when it's just PG, Harden, and Russ, I don't see that as an issue.
And Zubac was only getting the ball off of those guys scoring. Like, those guys were making a move. Oh, they already just hit 3 in a row. They kind of get doubled, and then they hit Zubac, and he scores. It wasn't feeding Zubac. It was hitting Zubac on rolls and, after drawing defense.
It's just
that changed too.
Kawhi comes back, and Kawhi, I'm dumbfounded at his selfishness and how blatant it is. I mean, I told you watching that second half, I'm like, dude, his selfishness has no limits. Tyler, think about as a basketball player, you're coming back from an injury. You're coming back from an injury and you're gutting it out to come back.
Yeah.
Your number one objective is not let me get right.
Right.
It's to help the team however I can.
Mm-hmm.
Which even selfish players who've come back from injury have done this.
Yeah.
Kawhi comes back after not playing down the stretch of the season, after them having a flawless game one with impeccable shot distribution, and he literally fucks it all up to try to play well. And doesn't, by the way. Like, he literally forced himself, he tried to force playing well at the expense of the team.
He did.
I mean, Steve Ballmer, you're sitting there watching these games. Like, we got to notice it at some point.
Yeah.
It's so obvious that he is holding this team's chemistry back.
Nobody wants to admit it. I've been saying it for years, and for some reason, Kawhi is like a protected animal, like an endangered species that no one wants to admit, hey, maybe we're better off with him off the planet. They just don't want to admit it.
I started to see it in the bubble against the Nuggets when Jeremy Grant was just abusing him on both ends.
And getting like so many backdoor cuts and lobs and
doing like everything. Literally, Jeremy Grant looked like a fucking Warriors Andre Iguodala.
And that's because Kawhi plays some of the worst team defense in the entire league as an individual. And he plays no help defense. None.
And this third game killed me even more.
Yeah.
Because he comes out and now not only he's gutting it out again, not healthy, at the expense of the team trying to play well, but there's a moment. There's a brief moment when the sun, the clouds clear and the Clippers start guarding as a unit and they start getting out in transition as a unit, and PG's throwing him lobs. He's getting cross-court passes for the corner shot. I know, the moment I'm talking about, the third quarter stretch, they're playing great. I'm thinking if they're going to take control, it's going to be right here.
Yep.
And Kawhi Leonard decides to take Luka.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on? Not like actually take him. I mean, hide on him.
Right.
I'm watching the game. I'm like, no. And of course, Luka gets going, gets a couple easy ones. We have no answer for Kyrie Irving because our assignment guy is wasting his time on Luka, who's not even aggressive.
Yeah, and he, when Kawhi does that, he doesn't even like to switch, which you kind of need to be able to do on Dallas. You need to be prepared to switch, and he doesn't. So someone's going to have a mismatch.
I just hate the Clippers have stood by him, and he's not rewarded them ever.
Ever.
He's never rewarded them for more than like a single game.
Nope. He has like good weeks, and then like a good week at a time. And, it still doesn't look like championship team, just Kawhi playing good.
Bro, he's the only guy who just sucks possessions out of the team.
Yep.
It's so, even Harden stopped. Harden has, again, tried to, acclimate to a new situation. It's not perfect. I'm not expecting him to be phenomenal, but you see the elements of Harden's game, that are transitioning to these players. They're helping some of the players. Their chemistry's working.
Yep.
And Kawhi has, just not given a fuck.
Yep.
So, you couple that with Paul George, again, not playing veteran leadership basketball, and you get the most atrocious duo I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Only Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can show us flashes of what they should be as a duo and then go completely away from that.
Yeah.
Only the two of them. I can't think about the worst fucking NBA duo you can. Think about fucking Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. They wouldn't do some shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, neither of them even looked like good basketball players last night. And crazy thing is, none of the Dallas guys should be able to guard them or stop them or even get them out of their game. And they both just took each other out of the games. It looked like a battle of who should really be the best player on the team last night. Like they were having a battle or a conversation in the middle of the game.
And it didn't
was
go well.
Unhinged.
There was no resolution.
There was no resolution. And the guys that are supposed to maybe help out, be involved to help make the decision more clear or easier, were just completely unhinged throughout the game. Westbrook was top tier
Westbrook and Powell.
Cancer Westbrook.
Westbrook and Powell in the second half lost their minds.
Yeah, and Man did nothing in this game. Man really, I forgot Man was even playing out there for most of this game. Same thing with Coffey.
He subs him in there to guard Luka. Ty Lue, are you setting him up to fail?
Looks like it sometimes.
Forget bad play for a second, because bad play is cost teams. But yeah. I despise invisible players. I hate cardio guys.
The Allen Crabbe's
Coffey done? What the fuck has Coffey done in this series?
He hit 1-3. What game was that? Maybe game 1?
There's Ty Lue. There's no way PJ Tucker can't touch the court. There's no way.
I know. Tyson doesn't even get in anymore.
Westbrook was 1 for 8 hack box. Trying to fucking hurt guys. Last night.
0 for 7.
My guy still can't get in. Speaking of, you need a fucking spark plug.
Yeah.
Fucking the guard from
Bones.
Denver Bones. You need a spark. Russ is blatantly playing for Dallas today. Hello? Can somebody say something? Can we get a different sub? I mean, Nick Nurse, Lowry and Maxey are struggling. They're still the core of the team. They still kind of decide how the team goes. And Nick Nurse had the presence of mind, let's get somebody else to try to help out.
Yeah.
The Clippers got this fucking bench of talent that's just sitting there.
Yep.
Wasting my fucking time watching is what I'm doing, because this series has been closer than it seems, but it's because Dallas can't pull away.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Dallas has played better. They've developed better. Their chemistry is getting better. I mean, everything Dallas is showing me front court potential that they could carry over to future rounds. They've shown me a chemistry between their best players. I mean, it's like a matchup to make the Clippers look extra horrible, because Luka and Kyrie are in year 2 and they figured it out.
Yep. And they look good.
It's looked great. They're even playing defense.
They are. Good defense.
That second half of game 2, Luka was locking up.
Yeah.
Kawhi, PG, what the fuck? Where has that been?
Nowhere to be found. And it's like they're afraid to. Paul George, for me, I never understand why he always looks like he's giving the offensive player like respect instead of just locking him up. Like he'll come out to Luka and be like, act like, oh, he's just gonna score on me anyway. I just got to make it hard. No, like Paul, you're a really good defender. It's like he doesn't know how good of a defender he is to like really lock anyone up. He's like, oh, I got to give him defense. He's still gonna get his, so I just got to do this. Like, no, bro, just lock him up. You can. You really can.
Dude, I've watched Mike Conley has locked up every Phoenix player, and they're all bigger than him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched when KD got exposed by Boston, Peyton Pritchard was out there locking him up.
Guards can lock KD up.
I've seen Steph and Jamal Murray's been busting his ass to play good defense.
Yeah.
Like, the effort isn't there. Forget you trying and failing. It's just the effort hasn't been there. I mean, Russ has taken Luka like almost specifically to hack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't we just allow Luka? If Luka's gonna beat us with tough shots, okay, I could go home like that.
Yeah.
But the Clippers losing their composure in a game, Dallas was doing nothing to take their composure. They just lost it.
And like you said, they didn't even put PJ out there, who's one of their hardest defenders.
I can't even really blame Ty Lue because the guys out there, like, there's not a commitment to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with the guy who's coming back from injury who doesn't give a fuck about the team.
I know, who for some reason the team just like nominated as leader and has no leadership qualities.
I mean, they just love him. It's like never his fault.
Now you see where I've been beating my head against the wall for like 5 years.
They go from fun basketball to not fun. And they're like, it's not the one specific change that could be the reason for that.
The only change that we've made.
Anything else. I guess Dallas is just too good. Like PG is just not good enough in the playoffs. Like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
I'm done, bro. Like, as far as the criticism I had for LeBron and AD and how they should be able to elevate the team in spite of some of the nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, I hold PG to the same standard.
Mm-hmm.
And PG has failed. Like Harden has looked more like easier of a fit just as this season has progressed than Paul George.
And even throughout this playoffs so far, they've gotten everything they could possibly get out of Harden to me.
Yep, I agree
with
that.
He 28, he's not going to do much better. I mean, maybe, but it's on everyone else. After he gets 28, everyone else got to do their job.
He's been efficient. He's not been not extremely turnover prone.
Yeah, not for his standards.
Of the 4 guys, I can make a case he's made the most effort defensively.
He has.
Which is like, scrap the team if that's the case.
Yeah. This is a bad job by Ty Lue, and I think, I'm not questioning his manhood or anything, but it seems like he's being intimidated by some of the players sometimes, or like he gets easily influenced by what they want to do, so he just does it, or he just lets them do it. Which, I guess he really can't stop them, but it doesn't seem like he's taking command of their game plan very much.
Like, the Clippers, to me, are a prime example of, if you're going to hand the keys to the kingdom, it has to be an iconic player.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you can't just hand the keys of the franchise over to just any star player. and just rock,
Yeah.
It takes more structure, more leadership, top to bottom. And the Clippers haven't had the stability. That's why they allowed Kawhi and PG to come in there and dictate the culture, because they have none.
Right.
And it's been a fucking disaster.
Yeah. Real quick, let's get to the last series. Like I said, I don't have too much to say about this either because it's only 2 games in.
Oh, yeah.
But there's enough to say from game 1 to game 2. But there's still more to see after New Orleans gets home court now. OKC in New Orleans. First game was probably the closest game of all first games this year. Went down to the wire. What do you think? You have thoughts about the series itself? Second game, the Pelicans just had no effort. They got embarrassed.
Yes. The second game was the Pelicans quitting. And Zion, it was so embarrassing that Zion, of all people, tried to rile them up, and they essentially quit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about Booker and Beal, like what the fuck is going on? Like, I didn't think you guys were this bad.
Yeah.
CJ, what's happening? Can we like make up an injury? Holy shit.
He's scoring well.
Is he?
20
it don't really look like
15.
it to me. It's a lot of like hard shot. He's made some, but it's like CJ. I'm familiar with CJ as far as a guy who could use his handle to get good shots. Like that's what Chris Middleton is great at that.
Yeah.
Like that's been CJ's strength. It's been like a key for Portland. It didn't mesh together with Dame, but it was never like this. It wasn't just CJ being trash.
Right.
He's been awful. He hasn't managed the games well. He hasn't managed possessions well. He's not seeing the floor for a team that needs a point guard. Like,
he's proving that he isn't one.
Yes.
Or at least he isn't the one that they need.
The Pelicans, and what's really disturbing, because I knew they would struggle offensively.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this would be the team they could guard well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Thunder are as basic as it gets. Drive and kick, feed the best player, run the offense through the second best player to mix it up, and we live and die by that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, the Pelicans, I was high on them all season, and I look stupid in hindsight, but I was high on them because they had the roster to do what Minnesota is doing to the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown their best moments of the season has been doing what Minnesota is doing to the Suns.
The defense,
yes, the
defense,
physicality, the ability to match up all around, switching, like just all we're on the glass on both sides. We're playing through our best players. We're living and dying by that.
Getting your best scorer shots too. Good shots. They can't get Ingram good shots in this game. These games.
Again, they're offensively inept. I could forgive offensive struggles. They've shown that.
Mm-hmm.
Has Isaiah Joe been uncomfortable at all?
No, he's come in and look great every game. He looks like sixth man of the year for them.
Again, if Isaiah Joe is hitting tough shots, you shake his hand and you move on.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming in and getting wide open looks.
Yeah.
I mean, all the bench players are getting comfortable looks. Like, New Orleans, are we going to guard anyone?
Yeah.
That's what's been insane. It's not if SGA is averaging 35 or Jalen Williams is putting up triple doubles. Everybody's playing well, including Chet. Like, Chet's not even he's not fazed by the playoffs at all because you're guarding him like dog shit.
Yeah.
It's similar to the Lakers just letting MPJ get shots. Like, you're going to get cooked.
Right.
The Pelicans are they're allowing Chet to space the floor. and they're closing out so bad that he's eating every drive.
Yep. The closeouts have been really bad. Jalen Williams, one pump fake, he gets right to the basket every time.
He's not even like a kill you. Like, he's not a fucking nuclear shooter.
He's not.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And they just leave Dort, just completely leave Dort.
Yeah, Dort. Again, their defense has been so bad on every Thunder player, which I can't. It's breaking my brain.
Yeah.
The Thunder are the least complete offensive team in the Western Conference, and the Pelicans have them looking like they're the fucking Nuggets.
They are making them look a lot better than they are. What do you really expect out of the...
And Willie Green, I mean, we've criticized the number of coaches today.
Yeah.
I'd fire Willie Green before Game 3. I'm not letting Willie Green come back home.
I'll get more into Willie Green after their series is over. We can talk about him more when they're like actually all the way done. What are you expecting out of them Game 3 and 4?
Maybe it's just because I just watched Phoenix embarrass themselves as much as a team could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping the home crowd doesn't fucking boo them after that Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they put a disgusting performance like that again, the crowd is getting them the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because it's inexcusable.
So you win any at home, the Pelicans?
No.
What about Miami, Boston? What are you expecting out of Game 3 and 4 in Miami?
Boston has been weird because the most glaring problem for them is taking care of the ball, and they're kind of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they've concerned me is the defense.
Yeah.
To me, like there's a moment in Game 2 where it's like, okay, now the shooters are hot. Mm-hmm. Boston has as much defensive versatility as anyone in the league, easily.
They should, yeah.
How is there not an adjustment to close out on shooters?
Is that what you're expecting?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so, because they shot really well. Miami shot really well Game 2.
If Miami beats you getting layups, however that looks like, shit, I didn't expect that from Miami without Jimmy Butler. Okay. But what happened in Game 2, Miami will do that again.
They can, yeah.
Because it's a little crazy. The amount of shots was historic, I understand. But again, it's the quality of the looks.
Yeah.
I mean, Highsmith is getting warm-up looks. Tyler Herro is coming off the screen wide fucking open.
Yeah.
It's like Boston's watched Tyler Herro struggle in Game 1 and was like dared him to turn it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, Miami, if there's one thing about Miami, is they're most competitive when you least expect it.
Right.
And Miami, again, like, you can't allow them to shoot comfortable looks. That's what most of their guys want.
Mm-hmm.
So I worry about how Boston defends Miami, because allowing this to go 7 games is extremely dangerous for Boston.
It is.
Because the entirety of the pressure will be on them.
Yep.
And knowing how Miami has handled them, be honest, if it gets to 7, that means Miami will have beaten them 2 more times, and there's no doubt that Miami could beat them at this point.
Right.
Without Jimmy Butler, 3 wins, they're not winning Game 7. Like, let's be honest.
And if I'm not mistaken, Rozier will be back if they get to Game 6.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
It's hard to predict how his return will affect Miami.
Yeah.
I believe Jimmy's like multiple weeks, so he'll be maybe back for the next, like the end of the next round.
Yeah.
If that, he might not even be back till later. But if this wasn't, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume Miami won't do what they just did in game 2.
I agree.
But I repeat, they're capable.
Absolutely.
And Boston has to respect that.
And Boston is capable of losing. That's the worst part.
Always true. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good recap of the game so far. We will be back probably at the end of this series for everyone, right?
Yeah, we'll next couple weeks are going to be heavy playoff recaps.
Yeah, we'll get to the draft, the NFL draft eventually.
Yeah, once it'll be, you know, probably after the second round when it's just one game a day, 2 series to worry about. It'll be a little more time to talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
There's a conversation that we didn't get a chance to have about the play-in results and some of the teams that let us down.
Yeah.
But there's 2 Cali teams in particular that we will save for after the season.
We'll have a full Cancun pod soon of all the teams vacationing.
Yeah.
Nice vacation pod. Expedia pod.
Some teams getting there very quick.
Yeah.
God, I cannot stress how much I love the NBA playoffs. Like, there's no hiding your weaknesses. You get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. To me, all the criticisms not all, but a lot of the criticisms I've had, like, because I'm watching the NBA more than, you know, a lot of people that I talk to.
Yeah.
People are always like assuming I'm being too harsh about certain things.
Until it happens.
Until we get to the fucking playoffs. And it's like, yeah, Phoenix's offense is inept, guys. Like, yeah, their three stars are really selfish. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy that the playoffs are opening up people's eyes.
Yeah. Yep.
Except for Kawhi Leonard. I don't get why people's eyes are shut on that.
They just, I don't know. It's been a while, but I don't get it either. Like I said, you know, I've been going crazy about it for years.
I have people in my like, you know, that I talk to that are Clipper fans, like relatively serious Clipper fans. I'm like, yo, guys, like, I'm explaining to you the problem.
Yeah.
It's, you don't trust, Russ sucks. Oh, Harden's washed. Ty Lue's a bad coach. Like, okay, all right, guys. I mean,
none of that is wrong, but none of that matters to them winning or losing.
Exactly.
Yeah, all that could be true, but they can still win despite all that. They can't win despite the other thing. All right, we'll be back. Thanks for listening. We're back on YouTube, so please subscribe. Watch us on YouTube. That'll be going. And we'll see you guys next time.